Today, we're going to talk about leaving the comfort zone and going towards the things that you want to do. Maybe you're in a situation, I'm just saying maybe you're in a situation where you found yourself where you're kind of like, you know what? I know I want to do this, and this, and this, and this in my life, but maybe my spouse or maybe my partner, maybe my friends, maybe my family will reject me, leave me, question me, telling me that I'm a stupid, crazy person and that I should stay in the safety zone, in the comfort zone, and I don't really know where to take my first step. Maybe I have a 9 to 5 that I hate. Maybe I do something in my life that I don't like. Maybe I'm drinking too much. Maybe I'm eating too much. Maybe I'm playing too much casino. Maybe I'm doing something that I know is not good to me, but I also don't know where to place my foot. Okay, so if this is you, welcome. This video will serve you a lot. I've been in this situation many times and it goes over and over. So this is the thing that you kind of like, when you understand this, you gotta get used to this, because you gotta do this over and over and over and over again in your life. And when you get comfortable with doing this, you go like, oh, it's nothing, no problem, I done it before. So life goes in different kind of like patterns and circles for every 7 to 10 years. So basically what happens is that you go into a pattern and something happens in your life and you grow and grow and grow, and then you go into the next cycle and you have to kind of like take a leap of faith. You have to move out of your comfort zone into something new, because in that new place, there is where all of the stuff is actually happening. And when we move from one place to the other, and I'm not saying it has to be this like 7-year cycle, it could be small cycles too. Maybe you are changing your job, or maybe you are you're changing something in your life and you feel that kind of like, I'm done with this thing. And every time we have to do this, we are faced with this kind of like doubt, and fear comes up, and questioning, and like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if they hate me? What if they leave me? What if all of this stuff, that if we are not in observation mode of our own mind, the mind is gonna take over. Because this is how it works. You're about to do something. And when you're about to do something, you feel it inside of you. There's a feeling within you. The feeling then goes to a thought. So maybe you feel fear, for example. It creates a thought. And this thought tells you something. And if you're not observing that thought, you're going to believe your own thoughts. And when you believe your own thoughts, what happens is that you're going to take action on it, or you're not going to take action. Which means if you're fearful and you have accumulated fear in your body, that is going to go to a thought that says, you know what, it's super dangerous. People will hate you. You're not going to be able to succeed in it. You don't know how to do this thing. You know nothing about it. You've never done this thing. You suck at this. And all of a sudden, you are not conscious and aware and observing your thoughts. What happens is that you go into believing your own thoughts. And when you believe them, what do? You probably take none or not much of action. So, but what happens if you are observing what happens inside of you when you're supposed to do something? You breathe. You take observation of your thoughts, and you're like, you know what, oh, now my thoughts are speaking to me. My monkey mind, my lower self is speaking to me, and it's trying to convince me to keep me safe where I'm at right now. Because the monkey mind, the ego, the small self don't want to change, and that's the thing that it hates the most. So it's going to convince me as much as it can to keep me where I'm at. But if we can observe it, and we can, you know what? We can tell it to, I appreciate you for trying to keep me safe. I accepting you where you are, You can try to convince me, but I already decided what I'm gonna do. And no matter what that is, no matter what you say, I'm gonna keep doing the things because my higher self and my soul that's inside knows exactly where we're about to go. And when that happens, all of a sudden you are in power instead of you're being disempowered and being convinced by yourself to not do it. I have this thing that I had for many years, and I believe that when I die, I'm gonna meet the person that I could have become in this life, which means that the growth never stops, and my inner being wants me to grow, so it gives me things to do, and when I do these things I grow. So everything that we do, it's kind of like it's the vehicle how we grow, which means that if you don't do these things, you're never gonna grow and you're never gonna become the version of yourself that you're supposed to be. This is just in my hallucination, what I believe and what I for some reason can't let go. So what if like you're facing yourself at death and you're asking yourself, what do I regret? Do I regret anything in my life? And I think go for the things that you do not regret. So it means that if you have two choices and this thing is very cool and this thing is also super cool and maybe it's a bit scary, but if you don't do this thing, you will regret for at least trying that thing. Then in my hallucination, the best thing to do, even if it's uncertain, even if you don't know how to do it, even if you've never done it, even if whatever, this thing is better to go for than this thing that keeps you maybe more safe and it's secure and you kind of know how to do it. The growth in this thing will probably take you to a place where you've never been before. It will probably take you where you need to go. I used to say to all my clients in the past, like, really the things that comes to you, be very cautious and aware of what that is and what it tried to tell you and what you can gain from it. Because we can't control what comes to us or not comes to us. And if it come to us, it probably is meant for us. Which means you should play with the things that you already have and then go from there. It doesn't mean you can do other things in the future, but it means that this is where you start with to move on. I believe in the universe, something is higher than us, and I believe that we are served and given everything that we need in the moment, but we need to take action and execute on it. It's like we're giving an order from above, and we are like, this is the order you're supposed to do, Michael. Boom, go execute it. But then all our feelings comes in, and we're like, oh no, I feel this and this and this, and I'm scared. And I honestly, me too, I'm super scared sometimes. I'm so scared that I feel that if I'm really scared, I have to do it. Like, I really have to do it. Behind all of this kind of like, all the doubts, all the fears, and all the things that's inside of us, everything that comes up in our mind where that holds us back, makes us small, not believing in ourselves, doubting, hesitating, procrastinating, and believing that we're not worth it, and all of this stuff. Behind the action, which is on the other side of action, where we actually do something with the thing that came to us, in my hallucination is where all greatness, joy, love, pleasure, like abundance is. So how the question might be, instead of like, why can't I do this, or like, why is this happening to me, or why all of these negative questions, like, instead asking better questions that could lead to something that makes me take action. Like, what happens if I don't do this? What will change in my life if I actually have the courage to go for this thing that I really want to do? When we reframe the question to something else, the mind comes up automatically with different type of answers, and that answer could be where the action is. And all of these years, when all of the healing that I've done, like, I've been thinking fear and doubt and hesitation and procrastination and all of this, because I had all of it too. Why do I have it? And what makes the difference with a person that doesn't have it? Well, in my hallucination, what I've discovered is that all of it is accumulated in the body, which means that your nervous system, for example, is affecting your thoughts. So if your nervous system is in fight and flight, for example, your thoughts will be too. If you have accumulated fear stuck in the body, your thoughts will have fears too. If you have doubt somewhere in the body that is stuck, or shame or guilt, which is probably one of the lowest vibrations that we have, the mind will have it too. So when the answer, if you feel a lot of these feelings, well, I would say the answer to be able to execute and do these things is within your body. This is what you have to be working with. Like, your body is your vessel and your vehicle, which means that when you work on this, also this change and your action change. So it's not that easy to just sit and think differently, because maybe your nervous system is already in a position where it's in fight and flight. Well, then you have to work on fight and flight first. Make sure that your body is free from that. Maybe you have accumulated fear because you've been together with a super fearful girlfriend or boyfriend, and you've been, jiggy with each other, and you have transmitted that fear into your body, which is not your fear, but it's the other person's fear, but now your body holds on to it. What you need to do then is to find a way to release that fear. And by the way, I have a course that I will link in the description on how you can release the fear from your body, for example. It's a 10-day course, and I put everything in there. When you release the fear from your body, all of us, it's one simple step. It's just one simple procedure that you're doing. When you release the fear from your body and you test, so this is what I used to do. You release the fear over and over and over and over again with this technique that I have. And then later on, what you're doing is that you test yourself. You do something that you are normally fearful for, and normally what I used to do is to fly paramotor. So I then go up in the air, and I feel how fearful I am of taking turns, for example. Maybe you can do something completely different. I don't know what that could be, and then you test yourself. How much of fear do I feel? And when you feel a difference between the last time you did it and this time, you know that, oh shit, I actually released fear. And all of a sudden, you are able to go and do things that you normally don't do, because you don't have the fear anymore. It's just an example. It could be shame, it could be guilt, it could be anger, it could be pride. It could be any of these kind of like negative feelings that the body automatically holds on to. So if you find this very helpful, click the link below, and you can join the course or subscribe. I would really appreciate if you subscribe and like this video, and go out there and really crush it. Like, go out and do things. But remember, you gotta work on this before you can do the other stuff, because otherwise it will be so hard for you to go and do these things that you want to do when you still hold on to all of those stuff that's within. It will be hard to take that leap of faith if you keep carrying all of that old past with you doing it. Appreciate you, love you, see you next time.